Hello good people, this is Shankar from Music Production Hub. Today we are going to check the control panel of Antelope Zengo Synergy Core. Before that, we can quickly unbox the audio interface. In the market, the device costs around 55,000 rupees. For the price, it's a steal. You are getting the quality of a high-end Antelope audio interface in a small package. You can scan the QR code on the Getting Started card to reach the product page. The warranty card has to be filled and stamped by the dealer. Let's take out the interface from the box. The Zengo has all metal body construction. It feels sturdy and good in quality. The device has two high-end preamps with discrete transistor topology. The interface has class-leading ADDA conversion with up to 127 dB of dynamic range. The interface has a sample rate up to 192 kHz and 24-bit resolution. This is a bus-powered audio interface with USB-C port. We are getting a USB-C to USB-C cable and a USB 3.0 adapter. Use the provided USB 3.0 adapter if your computer doesn't have a USB-C port. Make sure the USB 3.0 port on your computer provides enough juice to the audio interface. There are two USB-C ports on this interface. The first port is used to power the interface externally. It's not a Thunderbolt port. The second port is used to connect to the computer. Let's power on the device. Press on the Antelope button to switch on the device. Press and hold the gain button to enter the control menu. Select the power off to put the device on standby. To record all the audio activity of Antelope Zengo, I am using a second system with the Antelope Orion Studio. We can connect the SPDIF output of the Antelope Zengo to the SPDIF input of the Antelope Orion Studio. To record the voiceover, I am using the Antelope Edge Solo microphone. Antelope Edge Solo is a modeling microphone which can emulate the sound of different professional microphones. I am connecting the XLR cable to microphone input 2. For monitoring, we are using the Bear Dynamic DT990 Pro 250 ohms headphones. Connect the headphones to headphone output 1. Okay, let's check the control panel of Antelope Zengo Synergy Core. Start the Antelope launcher by clicking the launcher icon. There will be a login window. We don't need to log in right now, just close it. This is the Antelope launcher. Click on the interface icon to start the control panel. Minimize the Antelope launcher. This is the Zengo Synergy Core control panel. All of the interface functions can be controlled using this software. We can resize the control panel window by clicking and dragging. This is the preamp section with the two gain control knobs and input selection. We can select the desired clock source from here. If the interface is connected with the DAW, the clock source will show as USB. If you want to clock the device externally, you can use SPDIF. The interface supports sample rates from 32 kHz to 192 kHz. Now I am sticking with the 48 kHz sample rate. Okay, in the control panel center, we have the AFX DO refresh settings. This is used to adjust the FPS of AFX DO plugins. Next, the upper right hand corner of the control panel has an I button, which can be used to activate the help option. After activating this, if you hover the mouse over any control panel item, it will show a small help. If I hover the mouse on the input selection, you can see the detailed description provided. This quick help button is very helpful for the starters. For more details, use this help button on your Zengo Synergy Core control panel. Let's close this and move to the control panel settings. First, we have the monitor out trim levels. We can select from 14 dBu to 20 dBu. Select the appropriate trim levels depending upon your studio monitors. Here I am selecting 20 dBu. Select the pan low compensation between 0 dB to minus 4.5 dB. Here I am using minus 3 dB. There are two oscillators which can be used to test different outputs. They have independent mute buttons here. The oscillator provides different levels from minus 18 dBFS to 0 dBFS. We have two oscillator frequencies, 440 Hz and 1 kHz. Click and drag this fader to adjust the Zengo Synergy Core display's brightness. You can see it on the bottom right corner of this window. It is always good to use a lower brightness settings to save the LCD screen. The last one is the Thunderbolt latency mode, which is applicable to the Zengo Synergy Core with a Thunderbolt port. By clicking the Antelope button on the Zengo, we can wake up the device. Also, by using the control panel power button, we can put the device on standby. On the top right hand corner, we have the standard window buttons, minimize, maximize and resize button. Here we can change the default size, we can put it in full screen. There are two preamps here. We can change these inputs to mic, line and hi-set. The mic preamp provides 65 dB of gain. We can connect keyboards, synthesizers and drum machines to the line inputs. From changing mic to hi-set, there is a relay working inside. The hi-set inputs can be connected with guitars and bass. To switch on the 48 volt phantom power, we have to use command left click on the Mac and control click on the Windows. Next there is the phase shift button. Clicking on the small microphone icon opens the Antelope mic emulations. These emulations can only be activated if you have purchased any Antelope modeling mic. Right now I am talking to you through the Antelope Edge Solo microphone. We can also use the Edge Solo microphone without any emulations. Here we have the headphones and monitor tab. Next we have the digital output selection. Right now it's selected as a SPDIF input output. And lastly we have the DAW input output meters. If you want to send signals out of the SPDIF output, you have to click on this drop down menu and select the source. Similar drop down menu setup can be found on this monitor and headphones tab. The signal source selection menus are common for the monitor outputs headphone 1 and headphone 2. But you can have different fader levels and pan positions. Each signal source selection menu corresponds to the computer record channels. Below that you can see faders. These are for direct monitoring. Right now the channels 3 and 4 are selected with the Computer Play 1 and Computer Play 2. These are the main DAW outputs and Mac audio playback. Hard pan these channels and link the faders. The signal selection drop down menu includes preamp, emulated mic, computer play, SPDIF input, mute the channel and an oscillator selection. Like I said earlier, these signal selections are similar for the corresponding mixer channels and the computer record channels. This is the main routing concept of the Zengo Synergy Core control panel. Through USB, the Zengo can send 8 buses to the DAW and receive 8 buses. If you check other audio interfaces, the physical input outputs of that audio interface will be directly connected with the USB bus paths. But in the case of Antelope audio interfaces, the physical input outputs won't be connected with the USB bus paths. We have to manually patch them by using the Antelope control panel. First time the users may seem a little bit confusing. After you learn the concept, the routing flexibility will be amazing. Here I am using the channels 3 and 4 to connect the DAW outputs, that is called as Computer Play 1 and 2. And you have to open up these faders to full 0 dB and hard pan so that it will be sent to the main monitor outputs. The main monitor outputs and the headphones 1 are tied together. The fader levels and pan positions are similar for both, but you can have independent levels for the monitors and headphones 1 output. Next, if we check the headphones 2 tab, you can have different fader levels and pan positions. This will be totally independent from the monitor mixers, faders and pan positions. But the signal source selections will be similar for monitors and headphones. For example, we can use the headphones 2 for the artist monitoring. Lower the Computer Play 1 and 2 faders, then select a different stream on the channel 5 and 6 and send to the artist. This will be useful when you are doing a recording session and the artist needs a different mix. So the monitor 1 mixer will be used for the sound engineer and the headphones 2 mixer will be used for the artist. Also we can directly monitor the input source within the mixer itself. Okay, now we are checking the lower section of the control panel. You can see the monitor volume knob and the headphones 1 volume knob. The monitor volume knob is independent from the headphone 1 volume knob. You can dim the monitors, also you can mute the monitors from here. Similarly, we can see that headphones 1 also have the dim and mute functions along with the volume knob. We can use headphones from 16 ohms to 600 ohms. Right now I am using the Beyerdynamic DT990 Pro 250 ohms headphones. By setting -7 dB, I am getting a good volume on the headphones. Without using an external headphone amplifier, we can drive high impedance headphones here. The headphones 2 volume can be controlled independently. Also we can see similar functions like dim and mute. Antelope provides a built-in reverb within the Zengo control panel. It is called as Aura Verb. We can open the Aura Verb from here. In the Zengo, the Aura Verbs can be only used for monitoring purpose. You can see the reverb return faders are only for the monitor 1 and headphones 2. By default, the Antelope mixer will only show 8 channels. Clicking here, we can expand the channels to 16. You can select different sources on these mixer channels. As I said earlier, the first 8 channels signal selection will be similar for the mixer channels and the computer record. So if you want to directly monitoring anything and you don't need to send to the DAW, you can use this expanded view and use the 9 to 16 mixer channels. Okay, now we are going to the digital output section. The SpeedIF output of the Zengo Synergy Core is connected with the SpeedIF input of the Orion Studio so that I can record all the audio activity which I am doing within the Zengo Synergy Core to the other system. Some places in this video you will listen to the directly recorded sound. I won't do any post processing on that, but I will increase the gain accordingly. To test the SpeedIF outputs, I am selecting oscillator 1 on both. We can listen to the oscillator sound right now. Unmuting the oscillators on the control panel settings. The second mute option is for the oscillator 2. Now I am muting the oscillators, then going back to the channel selection of the SpeedIF output and selecting the computer play 1 and 2. Let's open the DAW. Here I am using Logic Pro X. Most of the settings I am using here also applicable to other DAW. Also the control panel of the Zengo is similar on the Windows platform. I am creating a new session by clicking on the empty project. We have to select the audio interface as a Zengo Synergy Core on the inputs and outputs. I am selecting the buffer size as 256. Click on apply. Okay, now we can close this window and create a new instrument. I am selecting the default patch. Okay, the outputs are working. Next, we can create an audio track by clicking Command Option N. Going to the input selection, we can see different inputs. The preamps 1 and 2 corresponds to input 1 and 2. The input selection menu on the Zengo Synergy Core control panel is actually patching the physical input to the DAW. The Edge solo microphone is connected with the input 2. Command plus left click the 48 volt button to switch on the phantom power. Setting the gain as 29 dB. Changing the mic input to 2 on Logic Pro. Raising this fader for direct monitoring. Check. Hello, test. 1, 2, 3, check. You can hear my voice through the right channel, I hope. In the SpeedIF output, I am changing this to computer play 2. So within the Zengo Synergy Core control panel, you can directly monitor the input. This will be useful when you want to record with the lowest latency. Now we are going back to the DAW monitoring. Arm the record button. Hello, test. Hello, test. 1, 2, 3, check. Testing the Zengo Synergy Core preamps. Hello, test. Hello. Hello, check. 1, 2, 3. I am using the Antelope Edge solo microphone with the Zengo Synergy Core preamps. You can hear my voice loud and clear. I am changing the gain. Hello, 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 check. Hello, test. 1, 2, 3, check. I think for my voice 29 or 30 is enough. It's giving adequate gain. Let's listen some loops from Logic Pro. Okay, let's go back to the Zengo Synergy Core control panel. It's always good to mute the unused inputs on the mixer channel. Similar to an analog mixer, you should only raise the faders which you are using. Also check the mixer's expanded view so that you are not unnecessarily directly monitoring any of the inputs. Going to the Headphones 2 tab, I can raise the Computer Play 1 and 2 faders here to monitor the DAW outputs. This option is useful when there are two people in the studio and want to listen to the same DAW output. If the artist wants to directly monitor the preamp 2 on the Headphones 2, click on the input selection on the channel 5 and select preamp 2. Then put the channel fader level accordingly. In addition to the direct monitoring, we can send the artist's voice from the DAW to a different stream, that is Computer Play 3 and 4. Then select the Computer Play channels 3 and 4 on the mixer channel 5 and 6 and adjust the fader levels accordingly with the artist. Okay, let's do that within the DAW. I am selecting the same vocal channel and sending a different bus from the Logic Pro. I am using the send option and selecting the output 3 and 4. Put the sends on pre-fader position and set the levels to 0 dB. Now my voice will also go through the Computer Play 3 and 4. Let's go to the Zengo control panel and route the Computer Play 3 and 4 to Headphones 2. Here I am using mixer channel 5 and 6. This is the flexibility of Zengo control panel. You can route any source to any mixer channel. Now you can see that my voice is also coming through this Computer Play 3.4. Next we can check a drum loop from Logic Pro. Drag and drop a loop from here. Let's loop it and start cycle play by clicking C. If you want to send this drum loop to the SPDIF output, we can click on the stereo out and select output 3 and 4. This will send the signal to Computer Play 3 and 4. I am going to the digital outputs. Click on the signal selection menu and select Computer Play 3 and 4. Go back to Logic Pro and hit the spacebar. We can send this drum loop to Headphones 2 by raising these faders. Changing the SPDIF outputs to Computer Play 1 and 2 for continuing the background recording. Changing the output of the drum track from 3/4 to stereo out. Hello. You can hear my voice. We can see that the Zengo control panel provides lots of routing options. We can use these methods when tracking with the different artists. We can use different Computer Play buses to send the signals from DAW to the Antelope mixer. Next, we are going to check the built-in Antelope FX engine. Antelope provides lots of analog modeled plugins for their audio interfaces. They are processed within the audio interface by using the built-in FPG and DSP chips. The Zengo Synergy Core has one FPG and one DSP chip. Clicking on the FX slot brings the FX window. We can save the FX chain from here. We can also load the FX from previously saved sessions. Using this bypass button, we can bypass the entire FX chain. Also, we can delete all the FX. Antelope provides lots of FX chain presets. We can use these presets as starting. By clicking the Add New FX slot, we can browse the Antelope FX library. This includes equalizers, compressors, tape emulation, preamp emulations, guitar amps and cabinets, etc. The expanding Synergy Core library includes modulation effects and third-party plugins like Anti's Auto-Tune. By default, some of the effects are unlocked on the Zengo Synergy Core. The grayed out effects has to be purchased from the Antelope website. In addition to the Aura Verb on the mixer channel, now we are getting the Aura Verb as an insert effects. Clear EQ is Antelope's 5-band parametric equalizer. This is one of the best EQs I have used. We can use this EQ while recording to shape the sound. Next, there are some modulation effects. Even though some of the effects are available, they will be demo versions. Selecting the memory card bridge effects, we can see the demo label here. By demoing these plugins, you can make the purchase decisions. Next, we have a huge vintage equalizers collection. The first 3 EQ plugins comes by default. The rest of the plugins have to be purchased. If you hover the mouse over a plugin, you can see the number of instances available. Here you can see 16 instances. This is the VEQ-HLF plugin, which is used to do the basic high-pass, low-pass filtering. Next, we have the VEQ-1A. This is the analog version of Pultec EQ emulation. The specialty of the EQ is you can boost and cut the same frequency. This EQ will definitely give you an analog color. Next, we have some analog model compressors collection. FET-A76 compressor and the gate style 11 comes by default. The compressor library includes faithful recreation of the famous diode bridge compressor 33609 from NIU. Some of the effects are in the demo mode so that you can test before purchasing. The DBX160 compressor emulation is also comes by default. In addition to the vintage compressors, there are vintage preamp emulations are also available. The Sengo comes with the Gyratech and BA31 preamps. This plugin emulates the Giraffe Audio dual tube mic preamp. You can drag and drop the AFX plugins to change the order. Put the preamp emulations as first. The Antelope BA31 preamp emulates the original RCA BA31A Germanium mic preamp. Similar to the 1176 hardware, we have the FET-A76 plugin here. I used this plugin a lot to track vocals. In addition to these vintage plugins, we have guitar, amp and cabinet emulations. All of these guitar emulations and amp emulations comes by default. Finally, we have a guitar tuner plugin. Next, we can check how many plugin instances are available on a single channel. When I'm adding a new plugin, I'm getting the next slot. After adding the 8th plugin, we are not getting another slot. So a maximum of 8 plugin instances can be added to a single channel. Okay, these are the basic setup of the effects section. Let's check the aura verb with a live vocalist.
Hey, hey, love.
Now you are listening to the dry voice of the artist. I am using direct monitor on the preamp 1.
And my peace within.
Press the aura verb button to bring the reverb interface. You can put each mixer channel on the reverb by turning the send knob. The reverb returns can be sent to the monitors and headphones by turning these sliders.
So I smile, smile again and keep on smiling.
Okay, stop talking and let's try some reverb settings.
When I'm with you and I've never been. Hey, hey, love, you are my sunshine in darkness and my peace within chaos. You are the hope in my despair and laughter in my sorrow. So I smile, smile again and keep on smiling. Hey, hey, love, you are my sunshine in darkness and my peace within chaos. You are the hope in my despair and laughter in my sorrow. So I smile, smile again and keep on smiling. Hey, hey, love, you are my sunshine in darkness and my peace within chaos. You are the hope in my despair and laughter in my sorrow. So I smile, smile again and keep on smiling. And my peace within chaos. You are the hope in my despair and laughter in my sorrow. So I smile, smile again.
There are some reverb presets which we can choose from this menu.
When I'm with you, I've never been more happier. Hey, hey, love, you are my sunshine in darkness and my peace within chaos. You are the hope in my despair. When I'm with you, I've never been more happier. Hey, hey, love, You are my sunshine in darkness. Hey, hey, love.
I think the aura verb sounds amazing. Okay, next we can check my vocals through some of the FX plugins. Reducing the direct monitor fader and going to the DAW monitoring. Hello, hello. Check. You listen my voice through the AFX plugin. Let's open the AFX instance. By putting the AFX plugins below the preamp 2, my voice will be processed through the AFX plugins and sent to the DAW input 2. Check, 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 check. Hello, test, hello, hello, hello. This is the processor vocal through the AFX plugin. Next, we are going to check another routing option. By using this option, we can simultaneously record the dry vocals and the processor AFX signals within the DAW. Delete this MIDI track. Then I am going to create a new audio track. And I am selecting the input as, we can select any input as 8. So this is Vox wet. I am putting wet. Putting Vox dry. Now we are going to process the artist vocals through the Antelope FX plugins and send to the headphones. At the same time, we are going to record the artist dry vocals on the second track as a backup. After the recording, we can decide whether to use the processor vocals or the dry vocals for further processing. Click here to open the AFX slot. Let's bypass this. Hello, hello, check, hello. Now I am talking to the preamp 2 with the clear EQ, clear Q. Next time I'm opening the VQ1. I'm getting a change. Hello, hello. I have to reduce the level of the compressor. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. Yes, the vocals are a little bit overcolored, but this will help us to distinguish between the dry and wet vocals. Okay, coming back to the routing setup, we can see that the processor vocals are going to the DAW via the computer record channel 2. For the dry vocals, we need to select another computer record bus. Although the Senko mixer has 16 channels, 8 record bus, that's the computer record channels, are available on the Senko. So I am selecting the mixer channel 8, clicking on the channel selection menu and selecting preamp 2. Next we are going back to the DAW, mute the wet track, put record on the dry track. Hello, hello. Now you can see this is a dry voice. So even though we are processing the preamp 2 with clear EQ and VCA 160, here I am selecting the same preamp. So this is going through the FX engine and it's being recorded on the Vox Wet. So the channel number is, you can check here, in the DAW, you can check the channel number as computer record 2, but in the computer record 8 you can see I am just recording it as dry. So here I selected input 8 here, input 8. Hello, hello. Now you can see this is my voice over processor with these effects. Let me reduce the clear Q, high frequency gain a little bit. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so you can see that if I am recording, check, 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 check. I'm just listening to the dry voice right now, or else I can listen to the wet voice while doing recording. So both of the voice are recording simultaneously. Okay, I can stop the recording now. Let's check the recorded vocals one by one. Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. This is a good method for incorporating the Antelope FX plugins during the recording process. By using the AFX plugins, we can send a good feedback on the artist headphones. For the safer side, we are also recording the artist dry vocals by using the Senko Synergy Core's routing capabilities. If you want to see the signal flow, click on the DAW IO. You can see which of the channels are going to the DAW and coming back from the DAW. From here, we can see that whichever signals are selected on the first 8 mixer channels will go to the computer record 1 to 8 channels. Let's check what are the signal sources available on the input selection menu. First, we have the preamps 1 and 2. We can send the preamp signals to the DAW record. Next, we have the emulated mic option. This will send the Antelope emulated mic signals to the DAW input. We can also use an empty mixer channel to send the dry preamp signals to the DAW record. Next, there are computer play 1 to 8 channels, which can bring different buses from the DAW to the Zengo Synergy Core mixer. Zengo Synergy Core has SPDIF inputs on its rear panel. We can select this option to input the digital signals. The next option is only available in the DAW I/O, which is not present in the mixer input channel selection. This will send the loopback signals to the DAW recording. If you want to mute the channel, use the mute option. And lastly, we have the oscillator selection. Next, we are going to check the Antelope effects as hardware insert inside Logic Pro. 3 and 4 buses are going to use for hardware insert. We can process the dry vocal track which we have recorded earlier. Click on the plugin insert, select the utility menu and select the I/O utility plugin. Select both the input and output as 3. Going to run some plugins through the pre-recorded vocal. Check, 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 check. Yeah, I'm just listening to the dry voice right now. Or else I can listen to the wet voice while doing recording. Yeah, I'm just listening to the dry voice right now. Or else I can listen to the wet voice while doing recording. So both of the voice are recording simultaneously. Okay, I can stop the recording now. Check, 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 check. By using this method, we can incorporate Antelope AFX plugins during mixing or mastering process. Next, we can test the hardware insert on a loop. Going back to the Zengo control panel, deleting the existing AFX, linking the channel 3 and 4, inserting a Pultec EQ, click on the I/O insert utility, select the input and output as 3 and 4, click on the ping button for automatic hardware insert delay compensation. Okay, that was a basic demo of Antelope AFX plugins as hardware insert. I hope we have covered most of the features of Zengo Synergy Core control panel. Next, we are going to check some hardware settings. Press on any of these buttons to wake up the device from standby. Press and hold the Antelope button to enter the shortcut for adjusting the LCD screen brightness. Rotate the big knob to adjust the brightness from 0 to 100. It's always good to use a moderate brightness to save the LCD screen. For the demonstration purpose, I am putting the brightness as 100. Click on the Antelope button to return home screen. There are some meters on the LCD screen which displays analog input level, SPDIF input level and the headphone levels. On the top of the screen, we can see the clocking frequency and the clock source. By pressing the gain button, we will enter into a menu for changing the preamp's gain. We can press the gain button to change from preamp 1 and 2. By turning the big knob, we can increase or decrease the corresponding preamp gain. The Zengo Synergy Core preamps have up to 65 dB of gain. Pressing and holding the big knob in the mic preamp screen will activate the 48V phantom power. Each preamp has independent 48V phantom power. So if you want to enable phantom power on the other preamp, you have to do the same. Press and hold the big knob again to switch off the phantom power. Single clicking on the big knob will change from mic to line and line to high set. The line level gain starts from -6 dB to 20 dB. Changing to high set, we have a gain settings from 0 to 45 dB. Press the HP/monitor button to change the monitor gain. We can swap between monitor headphone 1 and headphone 2 by clicking on the HP/monitor button. Okay, these were the direct menu items on the Zengo. Now we can check some hidden menus. Press and hold the gain button to enter the control menu. We can put the interface on standby by selecting the power off button. Press the beginner for that. Click on any button to wake up the device. Entering the control menu again, we can select the clock source from here. We have internal SPDIF and USB as clock sources. We can clock the Zengo externally by using the SPDIF input. The USB-CC clock source is used when working with Android or Linux-based system without drivers. So the interface will run as USB class compliant. Finally, press the big knob to select the desired clock source. Next option will set the interface sampling rates from 32 kHz to 192 kHz. Next, we can set the monitor trim levels from 14 dBu to 20 dBu. Similarly, we can set the line out trim levels. The last control menu item sets the LCD screen brightness that we can already access through by pressing and holding the Antelope button. Next, we have another hidden menu which can be entered by pressing and holding the HP/monitor button. This is called a system menu. We can check the device info from here. The serial number, hardware version and firmware versions are displayed here. Next, we have the screensaver time and screensaver style settings. I recommend to put the screensaver as black and the screensaver time as 2 minutes. For this demonstration, I am switching off the screensaver time. Next one is an important option, which is the power source selection. The power A port is the USB-C port which we connect the interface to the computer, so the device will run bus powered. If you want to power the device by any external source, you can select power B. Charge device A from B is used when connecting with mobile devices such as smartphones or tablets. Lastly, we have the factory reset option. After updating the firmware of the interface, you have to use the factory reset option. Press on the big knob to select the factory reset. Right now I am not going to use this option. Next, I am going to show a hidden menu which you shouldn't use without consulting the Antelope tech support. Press and hold the Antelope and big knob button together to enter the test menu. I am just showing this menu only for your information. The device settings and the routings can be saved and recalled as presets. Press and hold the Antelope button and gain button to enter the preset restore menu. By using the Zengo Synergy Core control panel, you can save different routing presets here and recall it as you wish. Pressing and holding the Antelope and the monitor button together, it will enter the preset save menu. You can save the entire device settings on these 5 presets. Okay, these are the basic Zengo hardware settings. Although this was a long video, I hope I have covered the Zengo control panel settings and interface settings. If you have any doubts or questions, please leave it as comments. See you on a next video. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.